Have you ever had a moment where everything seemed to align perfectly? Maybe you were walking down the street, feeling completely lost and overwhelmed by life's challenges. And then, just as you needed it most, you bumped into an old friend who happened to be working at that exact coffee shop you'd been thinking about for weeks. Or maybe you saw your name in a headline on the news while sitting in a meeting where someone was discussing exactly what you were struggling with. These moments feel impossible, don't they? Like the universe is conspiring in some way to bring you exactly what you need at exactly the right time. We call them coincidences. But here's what I want you to know. These aren't random accidents. They're not just luck or chance. And more importantly, they're not meaningless. Today, we're going to explore something that might change how you see your entire world. We're going to dive into the science of why your universe keeps showing up for you. Because here's the truth. Every single one of those moments, the ones that felt like magic, the ones that made you pause and wonder if there was more to life than just survival, those weren't accidents. They were invitations. And I want you to know something right now. You are never alone in this journey. The universe is not indifferent to your existence. It's actively engaged with you, constantly weaving together threads of meaning that connect everything back to you. So if you've been feeling lost, disconnected, or like nothing makes sense, take a deep breath. What you're experiencing isn't random chaos. It's the universe speaking to you in its own unique language. Let me take you on this journey with me as we explore why your universe keeps showing up for you. Here's something fascinating about how our brains work. We are wired to find patterns, even when there aren't any. This is called apophenia, the human tendency to perceive meaningful connections between unrelated things. Think about it. If you flip a coin 10 times and get heads every single time, your brain immediately starts looking for meaning in that sequence. You might think, there has to be something behind this. But really, it's just probability doing what probability does. But here's where it gets interesting. Our brains don't just see patterns, they create them. We're constantly scanning our environment for connections, making sense of chaos by imposing order on it. This is actually a survival mechanism. In the wild, if you hear rustling in the bushes and your brain interprets that as potential predator rather than just wind, you survive long enough to pass on those genes. But this same pattern-seeking behavior is what makes coincidences feel so significant. When two unrelated events happen close together in time or space, our brains immediately link them. We create a narrative. This happened because of that. But often, we're just seeing connections where there are none. And yet, here's the beautiful paradox: we can't turn this off. Even when we know intellectually that coincidences are statistically probable, emotionally and spiritually, they still feel meaningful. Why? Because meaning is what makes us human. We need to believe that our lives matter, that we're part of something bigger than ourselves. So when you experience a coincidence, a moment where everything seems to align, you might be tempted to dismiss it as random chance. But I'm asking you to consider this. What if your brain isn't wrong for finding meaning in these moments? What if the universe is actually responding to your need for connection, for purpose, for something more than just survival? The next time you experience a coincidence, don't brush it off. Don't tell yourself, it's just random. Instead, pause and ask, what is this moment trying to show me? Because even if it's statistically probable, the fact that it resonates with you means it has meaning for you. And in your life, that makes all the difference. Let me tell you about something called the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, also known as frequency illusion. It happens when you notice something for the first time, and then suddenly it seems to appear everywhere. Maybe you learn a new word in Spanish, and then you hear that exact word 3 times in one day. Or maybe you buy a specific brand of coffee, and now you see advertisements for it constantly. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain is filtering information based on relevance. When something becomes important to you, whether consciously or subconsciously, your brain prioritizes noticing it. This isn't a glitch, it's a feature. Your attention system is designed to focus on what matters, and once something enters your awareness as significant, your brain flags it for future detection. But here's the mind-bending part. This phenomenon works both ways. When you're going through a difficult time, coincidences seem to pile up in negative ways too. You might see news about people having bad luck, or hear stories that mirror your own struggles. This isn't because the universe is targeting you. It's because your brain is hyper-aware of patterns that match your current emotional state. Think about it. When you're happy and feeling good, coincidences seem to bring positive energy. When you're struggling, they seem to reinforce what you're going through. But this doesn't mean the universe is responding to your emotions. It means you are responding to the universe with heightened awareness. This is actually empowering because it gives you agency over how you interpret these moments. You can choose to see coincidences as confirmation of your fears, or you can choose to see them as opportunities for growth and perspective shifts. The same event can be interpreted in completely different ways depending on where you're coming from. So the next time you notice something repeating, whether it's a song playing on the radio, a phrase someone says that resonates with you, or even just seeing your birth date somewhere, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what is this moment inviting me to consider? What perspective shift might be needed right now? Because here's the truth. Coincidences aren't random. They're mirrors reflecting back to us what we need to see in order to grow, heal, or simply remember who we are at our core. And that's something no algorithm could ever replicate. That's something only you can experience. Now I want to take you somewhere completely different, into the realm of quantum physics, where reality behaves in ways that challenge everything we think we know about cause and effect. In classical physics, objects exist independently of observation. A tree falls in a forest whether anyone is there to hear it or not. But quantum mechanics tells us something radically different. At the fundamental level of reality, particles don't have definite properties until they're observed. This isn't science fiction. It's proven fact. The double-slit experiment demonstrates that when you observe subatomic particles, their behavior changes completely. Without observation, they behave like waves, spreading out and interfering with themselves. But when you measure them, they collapse into particle states. This is called the observer effect. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, okay, but this is quantum physics, not everyday life. And you're right. It's not directly applicable to your morning commute or grocery shopping. But here's where it gets fascinating. Many physicists and philosophers are beginning to explore whether consciousness plays a role in shaping reality at all levels, not just the subatomic ones. The idea isn't that you create everything with your thoughts. That would be magical thinking. Rather, it's that observation itself is an active process of engagement between observer and observed. When you pay attention to something, when you bring awareness to a situation, you're not passively receiving information. You're actively participating in the unfolding of reality. This connects beautifully back to coincidences. Every time you notice something meaningful, a synchronicity, a pattern, a moment that feels significant, you're engaging with your environment in a way that amplifies those experiences. You're creating a feedback loop where awareness attracts more awareness. Some might call this manifestation, but I prefer to think of it as resonance. When you align your attention with what you want to experience, you create conditions for that experience to emerge. Not through magic or wishful thinking, but through the fundamental nature of how consciousness interacts with reality. So when you feel like the universe is conspiring in your favor, or even against you, remember this: you're not a passive observer. You're an active participant. Your attention, your awareness, your very act of noticing something is shaping the experience itself. And that means you have more power over your reality than most people realize. The next time you notice a coincidence, don't just let it pass by. Acknowledge it. Thank the universe for showing up. Because in that moment of recognition, you're not just witnessing something, you're co-creating it with every fiber of your being. And that's a profound truth worth remembering. Let me introduce you to one of the most intriguing concepts in modern psychology: synchronicity, coined by Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. He described it as meaningful coincidences that are not causally related. In other words, events that happen together without any logical connection, but feel deeply connected nonetheless. Jung believed these moments were evidence of something deeper than mere chance. He saw them as the psyche's way of communicating with itself, bridging the gap between internal experience and external reality. When you have a thought or feeling, and then an event occurs that mirrors it perfectly without any logical explanation. That's synchronicity at work. What Jung discovered was that these moments often occur during times of transition, uncertainty, or profound personal growth. They're not random, they're markers. They signal that something is shifting within you, even if you can't quite articulate what yet. Here's the beautiful thing about synchronicity. It doesn't require belief in anything supernatural to experience it. You don't need to be spiritual, religious, or metaphysical to notice when life aligns in meaningful ways. All you need is awareness and openness to the possibility that meaning exists beyond logical explanation. And here's what I want you to understand. Synchronicity isn't about predicting the future or controlling outcomes. It's about recognizing patterns of connection that reveal something deeper about who you are and where you're going. These moments are invitations to pay attention, to slow down, to reflect, to ask yourself what these experiences might be trying to teach you. Think about your own life. How many times have you experienced a moment where everything seemed to align perfectly? Maybe it was meeting someone at just the right time, or finding exactly what you needed when you thought you had nothing left to give. These aren't accidents. They're synchronicities, moments where inner and outer worlds meet in ways that feel impossible yet profoundly real. And here's the most important part. These moments are not meant to be analyzed away with logic or dismissed as statistical anomalies. They're meant to be felt, experienced, and integrated into your understanding of who you are. Because when you acknowledge synchronicity, you're acknowledging something fundamental about reality. That meaning is woven into existence itself, waiting for us to notice it. So the next time you experience a moment where everything seems to align, whether it's small or seemingly insignificant, I want you to pause and recognize it. Say thank you. Acknowledge that this isn't random. Because in those moments of recognition, you're not just experiencing something, you're remembering your connection to something greater than yourself. And that memory is the foundation for all the growth, healing, and transformation that lies ahead. As we come to the end of this journey together, I want you to carry something with you. Not a technique, not a method, but a perspective shift that could change everything about how you experience your life going forward. The universe is not indifferent to you. It's not random or chaotic in ways that leave you feeling alone and insignificant. Every coincidence, every synchronicity, every moment where things seem to align perfectly, it's all part of a larger pattern of connection that includes you. You are woven into the fabric of reality in ways that go far beyond what logic can explain. When you experience these moments, don't dismiss them as luck or chance. Don't tell yourself, it could have been anything. Because here's the truth. It wasn't random. It was for you. And more importantly, it was with you. The universe is showing up for you because you matter. Your existence matters. Your journey through this life matters. So I'm asking you to start paying attention, not in a forced or anxious way, but with curiosity and openness. Notice the moments when things align. Acknowledge them. Thank the universe for its presence. And most importantly, trust that these moments are not accidents. They're invitations. Invitations to remember your connection to something bigger than yourself. Invitations to believe that you are never truly alone. Because here's what I know with absolute certainty. The universe is conspiring in your favor, even when it doesn't feel like it. It's weaving together threads of meaning that connect everything back to you. And every single one of those moments, the ones that felt like magic, the ones that made you pause and wonder if there was more to life than just survival, those weren't accidents. They were love in action. So go out into your world today with this new understanding. You are not a random accident thrown together by chance. You are a conscious participant in a universe that is actively engaged with your existence. And every time you notice something meaningful, every time you experience a coincidence or synchronicity, you're not just witnessing reality. You're remembering it. And I want you to know this. No matter where you are right now, no matter what challenges you're facing, the universe is showing up for you. It's always been there, always will be there. And every single moment of connection, every coincidence, every synchronicity, is proof that you are never alone in this journey. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for allowing yourself to believe that something more exists than just survival and struggle. Because I promise you, the universe is conspiring in your favor, even when it doesn't feel like it. And every single moment of connection, every coincidence, every synchronicity, is proof that you are never alone in this journey. Go out there and notice the universe showing up for you, because it's always been there, waiting for you to remember.